Sharon McCoubrey, and I'm president of the Lake Country Art Gallery Society. And it's my pleasure to profile some of the artwork that's in our current exhibition. This is the work of Eve Leader, who's an artist from Vancouver. She's one of the 4 artists who are in this exhibition of significant stares at me from everywhere. So this is one of a series of 2-dimensional works that are in this exhibition. And if we have a look at the material and the way in which Eve has created her works, it's interesting to note that she worked as a potter for about 14 years before switching to 2-dimensional, and has always done kind of figurative work. What makes, there's that certain ephemeral quality within her work that comes partly from the material she's choosing to work on. So this is a drafting or a film mylar type of material on the background, and then she's using oil paints on top. So it gives a kind of a blending and almost translucent quality, which is part of what is giving it an effect that I think is really effective in these works. Eve began to work in 2-dimensional work. Her subject matter was mainly figures, and she's explored doing figurative paintings and drawings for quite some time. And she's moved to a stage where the figures are very neutral. So they're not specifically male or female, and they're also not highly realistic and filled with a great deal of detail. They're intentionally represented so that any viewer can look at them and relate to them, so that they allow the viewers to connect with them more so than if they were very specific to a person or a gender. The thing about the figures is their role within the background. So in some of these cases, it's a massive background setting and then a minor lone figure, which really triggers a feel. And they're done in such a way that the figure is definitely part of whatever the context of it is. And I think that triggers a lot of questions. It triggers a lot of wondering who that is and why they're there and what they're feeling. So that allows for a great deal of provocativeness in her imagery. For many artists, Eve would like to present an image that enables the viewer to really think about it and to wonder about it. And so one of the things that she has done to draw the viewer in is not to be really specific about the setting. They're not precise contexts of a scene, and yet there is the background and there is the image. A great number of people who have looked at this work have wondered if there's a certain sadness about it, a representation of something that might be a bit challenging in someone's life. The artist's statement about that is quite helpful. Eve has said, "I tried to capture that moment of bewilderment when structure and order in our existence breaks down. Everything looks unfamiliar and we are not sure of anything." And I think that's what a lot of people are wondering about, is kind of what's the condition that's being represented in these works. And this is the last of Eve's works that we're going to look at that's within this exhibition. This is certainly a provocative character that, again, many people are wondering what's happening, and yet where there are hints of things, a bit of the story is left untold. Now, one of the interesting things about the works that Eve has in this exhibition is that every single piece is untitled. And again, the artist's hope is that every viewer will look at it and think about it, that the hints and the explanations are not provided by the title itself. So I'm sure most people looking at it have come up with their own interpretations of who the figures are that are in her works. This is the only figure in all of the works here where one is able to see the face. In all the other cases, the face is hidden. So I think Eve has been very successful in creating works that really draw the viewer in, make the viewer wonder, and perhaps come up with some of their own stories that explains that wonderful interaction of this lone figure in the background. So another artist in this exhibition is the creator of this wonderful installation piece. The artist is Katherine Coe. a Vancouver artist. Her art career covers many different art making processes, and interestingly also works with music, and so enables a little bit of interaction of different kinds of art forms. Now this installation piece is called Lament, and it's representing kind of the connections and relationships within families and memories and sharing those memories. But then also it represents when someone is gone and the lack of control in being able to have changes like that in our lives happen. So this wonderful root mass forms the upper part of the installation piece, and of course the symbolism there is very much providing a foundation for family, the family tree and the roots. So the roots are at the top in this case, and they form kind of that strength and holding capacity for a family. Then the specimen bottles that have been attached to the roots have inside them written notes, which is wrapped around a piece of rosemary. The bottle is then sealed with beeswax and suspended really in a wonderful fashion all over the roots. Now, written on each of these notes is a memory or a story that relates to the family relationship and experiences in some way. What a great display of kind of perhaps the multiple experiences and maybe the complexity of family in relations. When I look at this, I can read little snippets, little words here and there of some of the stories, but I can't get it all. But it makes me wonder what has the artist explained in each one of these notes. And then that also helps me think about what would my memories of a family be? Which experiences might I like to profile as I do kind of a memory of some of the family experiences that I've had. Now, the part about this piece that is an additional really interesting one is the shadow. So this wonderful network of roots and bottles has a great shadow cast to the back wall, but also to the floor. And it kind of anchors the piece within the setting, within the gallery. So there's a great deal to look at in this piece visually, and there's a great deal to think about in terms of what it's representing.